Tracy and I are on a camping trip through the Southeast, and today we're in New Orleans. I'm a history buff, so we had to make a stop at the World War II Museum. This museum is actually privately owned by a foundation, but it is designated by Congress as the official World War II museum for the United States. After we purchased our tickets, we got in line for a simulated train ride. This is how many Americans went off to war as they left their hometowns headed for their first base and
to
basic
simulate
training.
people going off to war, getting on the train.
Shoot people. You don't think we're gonna sit over here and let that war go on when we haven't got a chance to show our skill? And he said, we're not gonna go to war. And I said, yeah, we're going to war. It's just a matter of time.
I was home, getting ready to go to church and listening to the radio. And all of a sudden, the radio went flat. Then President Roosevelt, my fellow Americans, the Japanese have just attacked Pearl Harbor. So in church, I thought about it. My country was at war, and I didn't want to sit back and let other people fight.
Are treated as loyal citizens, even though Germany and Italy have declared war on us. These men enlist in huge numbers, fulfilling their duty as American citizens to protect the values of the country their ancestors adopted as their own.
One of the saddest chapters in the history of World War II is how we unconstitutionally mass incarcerated Japanese Americans. During the war, approximately 120,000 Japanese Americans and Japanese immigrants were forcibly relocated and incarcerated in government camps. Another sad fact is how we treated patriotic African Americans who were willing to enlist and go fight and possibly die for their country. One of the most amazing things about World War II history is how American manufacturers of all kinds came together and began producing the materials that were needed to fight and win a global war.
Did you see that?
Another amazing fact is that over 6 million American women worked in factories, shipyards, and other heavy manufacturing plants to build war material during World War II. This museum is quite large. It actually is several buildings that cover several city blocks. Here we're crossing the street to the building that houses the World War II aircraft. Liberty ships were cargo vessels built cheaply and quickly in the United States during World War II to transport troops, food, and military supplies across the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans.
How you doing? All right, how about yourself? I'm doing fantastic.
As the Nazis defeated countries across Europe, they raided their museums, stole precious works of art, and ended up hiding them in caves where they were found after the war ended.
Germans stole all the art out of museums.
Unfortunately, of the 600,000 precious works of art that were stolen by the Nazis, only about 80% were actually recovered.
Gosh, look at that bomber that's all the way up on the ceiling. I gotta get up on those gangwalks. Let's go look at these over here.
Every one of these aircraft were real, and many of them actually saw action during World War II, while others were used for training purposes back in the United States. Thanks for coming along, and be sure to check out the other videos from our trip, the rest of New Orleans and the jazz scene, along with our visit to West Monroe, Louisiana, where we went to church with the Duck Dynasty family, and finally, Providence Canyon State Park on our final leg back to Jacksonville.